Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of Hoopers Heavens Podcast, where hoops, culture, and real life collide. Over here, we talk about the highlights on the hardwood and the trends and the news off of it. So sit back, relax, let's chop it up. All right, man. So today, get into a couple of topics, but you know we got to start off with the quote of the day. Quote of the day today comes from the great Jamaican superstar Usain Bolt. For those who don't know, Usain Bolt is one of the greatest track stars, Olympians that we've ever seen. And his quote is, he trained for 4 years to run 9 seconds. And people give up when they don't see results in 2 months. Let me say that again. He trained 4 years to run 9 seconds. And people give up when they don't see results in 2 months. The reason that I love this quote so much is because this is the epitome of being obsessed with greatness. This is the epitome of consistency. This is the epitome of small drops of success consistently every day, turning you into the greatest version of yourself. Greatness doesn't happen overnight. Success comes in small, consistent actions over time, repeated actions daily. Every day you get up, you complete an action, and you're slowly but surely just adding more and more to your ability to be successful and get to your ultimate goal. There's nobody that's ever been great that hasn't been consistent. When we think about some of the greatest singers, artists, musicians, we only consider them great when they've been great over a period of time. We don't consider one-hit wonders great. We don't consider, a player that came into the league, had 1 good year, never played again, great. We consider the LeBron Jameses of the world great. 22 years at a level that we've never seen before. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, Beyonce, Drake, like all of these artists that have been consistent every time, day after day, year after year. Don't mean they don't have strife, don't mean that they don't run into issues, don't mean that life don't throw things their way just like everybody else. However, they put in that daily work to get to their ultimate goal. And we see for a lot of these people, it's panned out, it's played in their favor. So I want you to remember that success comes in small increments. Every day, greatness doesn't happen overnight, but you got greatness inside of you. So I really want that quote to stick with y'all. Now, let's talk some hoops. All right, so last night, Lakers had their first game back after the All-Star weekend. LeBron played. We know that he was reportedly questionable with an ankle and foot injury. Luka played as well. I'm not going to focus too much on the loss because they lost and they actually gave up a 13-point lead, which slowly dwindled down after Austin Reeves, Hillbilly Kobe, got ejected. They say that he used the F-bomb too many times, which is why he got ejected. I do think these refs are kind of sensitive nowadays, and you really can't say nothing to them because you say anything to them, they just ready to kick you out the game or tech you up or whatever, However, but after he got ejected, they slowly lost the lead. Luka still doesn't quite look like himself. Luka is still kind of passive. We know that Luka is a score-first guard. We know that he's a great facilitator, a great playmaker, even a great rebounder, right? He makes the players around him better. However, he is being a little passive. And I just think it's just, early morning or early on chemistry things that they going through. Think about when you go to a new school, you don't know nobody. You're on your best behavior. You're not going in there and, showing out and, letting your nuts hang and, just acting like you the man, like you run it. Nah, you go in, you get comfortable, you learn new people, even on your job. You gotta learn the people, fill them out, see who's who, see how things move, how things operate, and then eventually, as you get comfortable over time, you start to, your feet kind of get settled into the ground. You're like, all right, cool. This is how I can move. This is how I do it. This is how they move over here. This is how they move over here. Same in basketball, right? He's on a new team. They want everything to be built and revolved around him. So he has to know where the players are, where they like the ball, are they going to go left with the step back and, pull up? Are they going to go right? If, they set a pick, are they going to dive? Are they going to roll? Are they going to stop for the short roll and make a pass out of the short roll? Just little things, little chemistry things. So I just still think that he's still trying to get into game time shape. We hear all the athletes say all the time that the best way for them to get into shape is to actually play ball. As a person who's played ball my whole life, from elementary all the way up until high school and all the other leagues that I played in, there's nothing like basketball shape. You can run all day, you can work out all day, you can lift all the weights you want to, do all the squats and box jumps all you want to, but there's nothing that will get you in shape better than playing the actual sport. So I don't know. I'm not going to say that I'm concerned. It's still early on with the Lakers, man. I definitely think that they should have won that game last night. I definitely think that they dropped the ball. This is one that first game from the break, they lost one going into the break after winning 11-12, if I'm not mistaken. Fresh out the break, they had a nice, few days off. I definitely think that they should have won that game last night, especially saying that they had a double-digit lead. You still got Luka, you still got LeBron, you still got the two best players on the floor at any point in time. LaMelo did his thing last night. Miles Bridges did his thing. Your boy Mark played. Mark Williams, who was a part of that Dalton Connect trade for the 2031 first-round pick that was eventually rescinded. He played last night, and it's funny watching him because dude is like 7 foot, 7'2", but he just has this bow-legged ass walk. I don't know if he's bow-legged. I don't know if he's knock-kneed. I don't know. But for him to be so big, his legs just look, I don't know, he kind of got like Bambi legs or something. It's kind of weird to see a guy that big, that tall, and look like he got some type of, walking deformity. But however, it was just a bad game for the Lakers last night, and I don't think that Lakers fans should be worried. However, I think that they got to get it together. They know that they in the Wild Wild West, which is the toughest conference. We know that it could be a make or break just for one game. You go on a 2-3 game losing streak, and you can easily drop from the 4th, 5th seed down to the 7th, 8th seed, in the Wild Wild West. So I definitely think that they need to be on top of it. Need to get on top of it. Need to go back to the drawing board. I know that these teams don't practice nearly as much as they used to. But maybe they need to get some practices in too, and figure out a way to be able to maximize Luka, get him more comfortable, continue to build the chemistry with Luka and some of these other players around him, so that way they can get back on that winning streak. Do I think they have a chance to win the championship? Not quite, but I will say that there's not many duos that I'm going to take in the league over Luka and LeBron if they are 100% healthy and playing at their peak. So we'll see what the Lakers are going to do. We'll see how they are going to finish off the last 25, 30 games of the season. We know that they're a little bit past the halfway mark, and if they want to make a true run for it, they have to win the games that they're supposed to win. The games against the Hornets last night was a game they're supposed to win. The Hornets are at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. I don't even think they have more than 11 wins on the season, which is crazy. So, for whatever reason, they dropped the ball, they lost focus. Luka didn't have the greatest game. There's been talk and chatter about if he's in game shape and all these things. So, This is one of those to be continued stories, and we're gonna monitor. We're gonna monitor, see how the Lakers are doing, man. So I think it's pretty interesting though, just to see Luka be as passive as he has been, knowing that he's a score first type of guy, and all the buckets that he's been getting has been easy. Pick and roll, splitting the defense, get to the bucket, layup, boom, getting the paint back down, 1-2 dribble, turn around, fade away, one leg, Dirk style. We know that that's one of his, patent shots. He's been hitting those. It's those three balls, though. Them tray balls have been clank, clank, clank. So, but I think that they can get it together. I think that they can pull it together. So, let's see. Let's see what they got, man. Let's see what they got. Next, I want to kind of get into another team in the West, and that's the Warriors. We know that they picked up Jimmy Butler, who is a former All-Star, who's also, carried the Miami Heat to a couple conference championships and conference finals as well. So I actually think he's a really good addition to this team. I think that he's going to bring some grit, some tenacity, a good defender on the wing, a good scorer on the wing as a second option next to Steph. He could play in the post. He could play off the pick and roll. He's a decent passer. He's a pretty decent defender, especially when he's locked in. And he can still give you 20 to 25 a night, especially if you get it rolling. So I think they have a puncher's chance to make some noise in the West. Do I think that they're going to win a championship this year? No. But that actually prompts me to my question. Will Jimmy Butler ever win a championship? And will Steph Curry get another one before he retires? So I just want you to think about that. Will Jimmy Butler win a championship ever? And will Steph Curry get another one before he retires? Now, you ask me, their best bet is to try to get one together. I don't think that they actually have a legit chance to get one. I just think that the West is so loaded that even with Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, I still don't think that they quite have enough. Again, I think that they can make some noise. I think they could push some teams to 7 games. But however, I just don't think that they have enough depth. I don't think that they have enough firepower and velocity to really, really, really take out some of the big dogs in this league. The OKC, the Denver Nuggets, Boston, Cleveland, even maybe the New York Knicks. I think the New York Knicks, could possibly beat them in a 7-game series, and I'm not even huge on the Knicks. So, but honestly, I don't think that Jimmy Butler is going to win a championship before he retires, man. I'm sure he still has a couple years under his belt, 2, 3, maybe 4 years under his belt. But I just don't think that Jimmy Butler will win a ring before he retires. I don't think so. And it's not because I don't think that Jimmy is capable. I just think that Jimmy Butler will have to be your third option on a championship contender team for that to be the case. Not saying that he can't be a great second option, because he is a great second option, but I just don't think that Jimmy as a second option is enough to get you over the top. I just don't. I don't think that they have enough. I think that they needed a big man like Lauri Markkanen or, a Miles Turner or something like that. A big man, that could be young, shoot the tray ball, spread the floor, but also bang, rebound, because they go small with Draymond Green, but Draymond is going to be outplayed by the Jokic's of the league. He's going to be outplayed by the Senkuns of the league, the Evan Mobleys and the Jared Allens of the league, the Kristaps Porzingis. Like they're just going to outplay him, because Draymond is only going to bring so much on offense, which is Scoring is going to be little to nothing. It's going to give you 8 to 10 points. Now, his impact, goes unquestioned. We know that he's, a maestro with the ball. He's a great passer, great playmaker. We know that he's, him and Steph is, great for the dribble handoffs, pick and rolls, him making plays out the short roll, things like that. But I just don't think that they have enough. I don't think they have enough. So if I was a voting man or a betting man, I'm going to say that I do not believe that Jimmy Butler is going to win a championship before it's all said and done. However, I think that Steph might have a chance only if they get another superstar over there. Somebody like Giannis, maybe. That's a question. It's a conversation to be had later on in this, in this video. But somebody like that, I think that he will have a chance with. Or, if he eventually leaves the Warriors and, go chase a ring elsewhere. We know that they tried to get KD. KD said, nope, I ain't going back to the Bay. Nah, I'm cool. I think at that point they would have had a chance, Steph and KD, just because Kevin Durant, even at this age, he's still a step above Jimmy Butler. He's still a better player than Jimmy Butler. He provides more on both ends of the floor than Jimmy Butler. Not saying Jimmy Butler can't provide things on both ends of the floor. Kevin Durant just does it at a more elite level. We know this. No matter how old Kevin Durant is, we know that he's arguably the greatest hooper of all time. The most efficient hooper of all time. Not just saying basketball player. I'm not saying he's the greatest. I'm saying that he's arguably the most efficient hooper we ever seen. You name me another player that you can roll the ball out one-on-one, mano-a-mano versus Kevin Durant, and they're going to be able to be more efficient than him. Any shot Kevin Durant's take is a damn good shot. I don't care if he's leaning. I don't care if he's on one leg. I don't care if it's an up and under. I don't care if it's a fading three. I don't care if it's whatever it is. Kevin Durant is a sniper. They don't call him easy sniper money for no reason. He is a pure sniper. Probably has probably one of my favorite jump shooters of all time. Just because anything he shoots is money. And it don't even hit the rim. It's cash, net, swish every time. That's all you hear when they go through the net every single time. So I think that Steph Curry does still have a chance to win another championship, but I just think it just kind of all depends on what they do in this off season, within the next year or two, while he still got some juice left, or if he decides to leave Golden State and go ring chase elsewhere, then I think he has greater probability to win another championship. So I'm gonna say yes to Steph. I'm gonna say no to Jimmy Butler, but that's just because I just don't think that they'll be able to make it happen. Now, if the Warriors did go get, go big game hunting this summer and brought in another big dog to go with their team, then that's a different story. Then I think that they may have a chance to compete. If they did go get a Lloyd Markin and a Miles Turner, a Giannis, or, maybe like a Jeremy Grant or something like that, like one of those type of players, that could really, elevate everybody, then I think that they would have a true, genuine shot. So, but I need LeBron to get his next ring, before Steph. I need LeBron to get his next ring. All right, man. So, news dropped yesterday that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's my vote for MVP. I know I don't get a vote, but if I was voting, I would definitely vote SGA for MVP. That he fired his agent. He fired his agent. Now, was this a bozo move, or was this a boss move? I think it was a boss move. I think that SGA is at, he is starting to reach a different stratosphere. He's obviously, leading for MVP this season. OKC Thunder is number 1 in the West. You know, they had the best record in the league, if I'm not mistaken. He had 22 straight games with 25 plus points, which is the most this season. He's number 2 in isolation plays this year. Very efficient and effective with the ISO. But he is also number 1 in plus minus on and off the court. Now, I know that's a lot of stats, metrics, and statistics, but that just says that he's number 1 in the NBA. When he's on the court, his team is better every single time than when he's off the court. There's a lot of great players in the league, but all of them can't say that. There's times where, you know, Steph Curry is in a minus. There's times where LeBron is in a minus. There's times where Jaylen Brown is in a minus. There's times where Jalen Brunson is in a minus, you know, because they may, you know, be having a bad game. You know, they may be shooting poorly from the field. You know, it may be a bad matchup to where they're getting exploited on, you know, on the defensive end of the floor, you know, whatever the case may be. So even with these great players that I just named, they all don't have the greatest plus minus all the time. SGA, on the other hand, his plus minus is always in a plus. He has the highest in the league. So he's up for a supermax or a max contract this summer, which, if I'm not mistaken, is $300+ million. Let that settle in for a second. $300+ million. What the hell would I do with $300+ million? I could think of probably about 300 million things that I could do with $300 million. But this man is up for a contract for $300 million. Then he fired his agent. The agents get up to like 10%. Up to 10%. He said, you know what? I'm a star. I got all the leverage. All-star, All-NBA, MVP, candidate, first place, best team in the West. I'm giving out buckets, back-to-back 40-point games, back-to-back 50-point games. Man, can't nobody do nothing with me. I'm isolation, whoever. Bring your best defender. I'm cooking him. Barbecue chicken. Roasted marshmallow. Is over with. He done. I like SGA, man, and I actually think it was a good move to fire his agent. You know, I'm not sure with some of the other ramifications and, you know, things like that later on when it does come time to negotiate other deals and, you know, some of the other things that he does have in place. However, I think his resume over the last 2 years speaks for itself. He's gonna get that $300 million contract. OKC Thunder will be fools not to give him whatever the hell he asking for. He want a car, give it to him. He want a hotel, buy it for him. He want a house. He wants you to put his kids through college. He wants you to buy his mama a Tempur-Pedic bed that rise up and cool on one side, hot on the other side, with the cooling matching pillows. Whatever he wants, give it to him. Because he is absolutely worth it. He is the best player in the league this season. And there's no question about it. Jokic obviously is runner-up. I don't think that Jokic hasn't quite had the season that SGA has. And if he has, it's been a little more quiet. It's been a little more quiet. The thing about MVP is to win MVP, it got to be loud. It got to be loud. Like, you can't just, you know, average a quiet 28, 9, and 8. It got to be loud. We need some 50-point games, couple 40-wing piece of dinners. We need a couple highlights. We need you know, dunking on a couple people. We need a couple up and unders, a couple fillets. We need a couple game winners. We need you to be in an all-star game, putting somebody on skates, Euro with a, you know, high floater off the, you know. So I think that SGA has proven to be the best player in the league. I think it's his to lose. think it's his MVP to lose, you know, and I think all the chips are going to fall where they may. He don't need representation. For what? My resume speaks for itself. Look at what I'm doing. Look at my team. Look how I'm carrying my squad. Game in and game out. I'm available. I'm reliable. You know you're going to get a 30 ball every night that I step on the court. You know I'm going to be the best player on the floor 95% of the time when I step on the court. You know, I ain't throwing up no donuts. Everything that I'm giving you is straight buckets. Straight buckets. Straight buckets. You know, he just a great player, man. And, you know, I bet the Clippers are probably kicking themselves in the ass for giving him up for Paul George, you know, because, yeah, Paul George hasn't been the same player over the last couple of years. But that's not here or there. But, yeah, SGA for MVP, man. SGA for MVP. And I actually think that they have a really good chance of coming out the West this year. Have a really good chance. But speaking of the West, I just talked about the Warriors and Steph Curry, and I actually believe that if Giannis, who reportedly said that if the team doesn't make any major moves and, you know, they don't, you know, they're not in the running for a championship, you know, he may look to take his talents elsewhere. I honestly think him teaming up with Steph Curry would be the greatest thing ever. I think it'd be the greatest thing ever. I think that they will play perfect together. And not saying that him and Dame aren't a dangerous duo, because they are. And I'll get to Dame and Giannis in a minute. But Giannis is letting it be known, hey, man, I want to win championships. Nothing more, nothing less. Anything else, I don't want to hear. I don't want to talk about it. It's championship or bust for me. Championship or bust. So that's why the name of this video is Bucks or Bust. Because Giannis going to leave. If they don't win a championship, are they going to have to blow it all up? Is he going to request a trade up out of Milwaukee? Then if he does, then what happens with Dame? You know, I think that him and Dame are a great duo. I don't think that they have enough to beat the Cavs, nor do I think they have enough to beat the Celtics and come out the East. So I would place them as the third best team in the East, right above the Knicks. And, you know, I feel like with the Knicks, I'm going to take Giannis just because he's going to be the best player on the floor. However, I think that the Knicks have the most depth. And I think that the Knicks' chemistry, you know, is second to none compared to the Bucks, who just added Kyle Kuzma, who just got rid of Chris Middleton, you know, who's been there, you know, a long time as well. So they're trying to fit him in, you know, and things like that. So, but I actually think that Giannis should consider, you know, he should consider going to the Warriors. You know, going somewhere where he can actually get a ring. You know, I'm a little biased, so I'm going to always say he should go to the Lakers. But I just know that that may not be as realistic. But I could see him playing with the Warriors. I could see him teaming up with Steph Curry. I could see him and Curry doing their thing. You know, 1-2 punch duo. You know, they got Jimmy Butler. I know that Jimmy was saying that he was open to going to Milwaukee. When he requested a trade, it was Milwaukee or Phoenix. And clearly he didn't get to Phoenix or Milwaukee. But if Giannis does request out, that's where I would like to see him go. That's absolutely where I would like to see him go. I would like to see him come to the West Coast and either go San Francisco Bay Area or up to La La Land in LA. I could see that happening. Now, speaking of the Bucks, if he does request a trade, then what's next? What's next for Dame? Would Dame ask out? Would Dame be moved? We know Doc Rivers is gone. If they don't win a championship, Doc Rivers is poo cheese. And I ain't even gonna lie, he might as well wrap it up. He might as well just say, you know what, I'm done. I retired. My run has came to an end because, yeah, Doc Rivers' better days are behind him. I can't see Doc Rivers coaching any more teams to a chip. I just don't see it happening. Just don't see it happening. So, really looking forward to seeing how this offseason plays out. If there's any big fish that come up on the market, any big name stars that ask for a trade or anything like that. Because, yeah, man, Giannis ain't playing with them boys. Giannis ain't playing with them boys, man. He letting them know, like, listen, this is what it is. this is what it ain't. So, for me, it's Bucks or bust. Let's see. So we actually coming up off of All-Star Weekend, which was this past weekend. And I seen some comments from Aaron Gordon, who competed in the 2016 All-Star dunk contest with Zach LaVine, which was one of the best dunk contests I've ever witnessed with my own two eyes. But I bring this up because Aaron Gordon mentioned how he would put his 4 dunks up against Vince Carter's 4 dunks, and he think that, he will win and edge Vince Carter out. And I had to think about it for a minute. I actually don't disagree. I think that his dunks might have been better than Vince Carter's, but I think that Vince Carter's dunks was such a movement. It was such a movement. It was such a thing for the culture that it was bigger than the dunk contest, right? That's just like Spud Webb. Spud Webb being in the dunk contest was bigger than the dunk contest. It was, Nate Robinson. It was bigger than the dunk contest. It was more than just, oh, we got some high flyers. It's like, no, like these guys are changing the game. Like these guys are showing that there's heart over height, that you could be 5'8", 5'10", 6 foot and compete with the Zach LaVines of the world, the 6'8", 6'9" Aaron Gordons of the world, and win. But however, he said that he would put his 4 dunks up against Vince. Man, I don't know. I think it's a debate if Aaron Gordon got robbed out of that 2016 dunk contest. I know that under the legs, over the hoverboard, over the mascot, under the legs, backwards dunk was some of the craziest. It was just like some of the most creative shit I've ever seen. And shout out to Zach LaVine too, man, because he's just pure athletic. He's just pure athleticism, man. He's just a high flyer. He's springy. He bouncy. Always have been. Always had bunnies. Has a really pretty jump shot. Great score. As long as he can stay healthy. I always think that he's a borderline all-star when he's healthy. We know there's a lot of other things that play into getting an all-star nod, but I definitely think that he's always borderline all-star. So, but yeah, I'm curious to know what y'all think about Aaron Gordon, being able to put his 4 dunks up against Vince Carter's 4 dunks. I think that he has a great point in saying that, you have a chance. But I also think that, Vince Carter dunks were just such a culture movement, that they can't be underestimated. Like, we can't negate that, like we can. Just like we can't negate some of the things that Allen Iverson did, on and off the court. Like, they were culture movements. It was bigger than basketball, So that's the only reason, I'm a little hesitant to say that I think Aaron Gordon 4 dunks would out Vince Carter's, but creativity wise, I think AG got it. All right, last and not least, man, I want to touch on this quick little topic. I was watching Gil's Arena. Shout out to Gil's Arena, big fan. If y'all ever need me on the show, tap in with me. I'll be more than happy to come for free, right? But they were talking about with Tim Hardaway, the top 3 guards from Chicago. And Tim Hardaway's top 3 guards was himself, Isaiah Thomas, and I believe he said Derrick Rose. And he got 2 out of 3 right. 2 out of 3. Isaiah Thomas, Derrick Rose. Now listen, it's Tim Hardaway, right? Like, we know the type of player he is. We know that, he was one that helped change the game as well, especially with that 1-2 crossover. He brought a lot of grit to the game. He changed the game as well. He had a handle like we hadn't quite seen at that time. you know, and his crossover, you know, took the game to another level. And he was a damn good player too. But I'm not putting Tim Hardaway over Dwayne Wade, Mr. Marquette, Mr. Wade County. Like, I'm not. Honestly, I'm not even putting Derrick Rose over Dwayne Wade. I'm going to say Isaiah Thomas, Dwayne Wade, Derrick Rose. And it's not just because of their team accomplishments with championships and things like that, but Dwayne Wade, to me, is the third greatest shooting guard of all time. Jordan, Kobe, D. Wade. Those are my top 3 shooting guards of all time. Now, Derrick Rose was a phenomenal talent, one of a kind, you know, the youngest MVP, something that we've never seen before, you know, or quite seen before, you know. I know Russell Westbrook, you know, and Derrick Rose are somewhat of a prototype of each other as far as the height, the size, the athleticism, that dog, you know, that they have, and their explosion. But Derrick Rose was something different, man. Derrick Rose was something different. I remember watching Rose growing up, you know, being a little younger, man, in my teens, and watching him and LeBron battle in the East, you know, and watching them go at it, you know. And D Rose was a force to be reckoned with. He was such a high flyer, damn good scorer, very athletic. You know, he could play make very well too. You know, he had great vision, quickness, speed, very agile. He was just explosive, man. Like literally, like somebody shot him out of a cannon every time. He literally fly down the court. Literally, like he had jets on his shoes. Like he fly down the court. You know, so I definitely would put Derrick Rose in my top 3 guards of all time from Chicago. Isaiah Thomas first, Detroit Bad Boys. I'm a Detroit guy myself, so, you know, I'm going to always rock with the Bad Boys Pistons. D Wade comes number 2. You know, D Wade got some chips, you know what I'm saying? You know, Finals MVP, you know, hold some records. No, but D Wade was just a dog. You know, he was a dog. You know, he took the Euro to another level. Didn't say he started it. Didn't say he brought it in. I said he took it to another level. We know that Manu Ginobili was the one who brought the Euro step over from Europe, right? So I'm not trying to discredit him at all. However, D Wade was the one. When you seen him do it, you're like, oh. He added the sauce to it. He put the juice on it. He put the You know, it wasn't just a simple, you know, you know, and then, you know, either with the backwards lay or 1-2 and with the one hand dunk and things like that. So, yeah, D Wade is definitely, you know, in my top 3 of guards from Chicago of all time. But I'm curious to know y'all top 3 guards from Chicago of all time, man. And let me know too in the comments, where y'all think Giannis is gonna go if he requests a trade. You think he's gonna stay in the East? He gonna go to the West? You think he gonna try to team up, you know, with some other superstars, or you think he's just gonna make a move and just you know, try to build it all up from scratch? So let me know what y'all think. Also, let me know what y'all think in the comments on any content or anything that y'all want to see from me. Don't forget to follow me on social media. It's all tagged down at the bottom. It's also at the front of the video. Send me messages, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. I'm trying to get this page up and running, and trying to get it out to the masses. So it's free to like it, it's free to subscribe, it's free to share. So please do so. I appreciate y'all. Until the next time, in the next video, we out.